This is probably one for the collectors, and it's a President Jackson, and sorry, just see underneath there the word Jackson. And this was a model that was bought out that obviously won't meet any type approval here in Australia. American version with quite a few things that obviously are going to be a little bit of an issue in regards to FM and the switch causing it to be able to go outside of the normal 40 channels. But for today's demonstration, we're just going to be putting it into an analyzer up here and having a bit of a look at just exactly what they designed and what they did. I collect these very much as a on the shelf. They are just beautiful examples of history, and obviously they don't get used on antennas, unfortunately. I mean, look, I'd like to, don't get me wrong, but that's the situation we're in. But these were well, let's find out. These were go down in frequency, so we're going to go channel 1 on the A band, and we're going to just see what that is. So 26065. Now if we go up to the B band, 26515, for the demonstration I just thought it's just easier just to put a little frequency counter on it than going back and forth to the monitor and working out where we are. Now this will go to normal 40 channels, so 26965 channel 1, and of course if you go to channel 40 on the C band, 27405. So basically from there you're then throwing yourself up to channel 41 through to channel 85. So it does doesn't exactly double as such. It's there's a few frequency differences. And then the last band does get you into the 10 meter band from 27865, so in the marine area, and that's sort of to be noted too that it's a bit of a dangerous area to have a transmitter with these have got about 40 watts power, I think, from memory. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Anyway, the top frequency 28305. So excuse me, the argument might be, oh, but that radio does 10 meters. Yeah, well, doesn't really, does it? It's it might be hard to get that one past ACMA. Anyway, for today's demonstration, everything we'll be doing will be in the C band, and we'll just be here on 27355 on dummy load. We're just putting a couple of 6 watts on FM into that there. So let's just have a look. I'm sort of a bit curious to see just exactly what sort of sideband power these can do. So we'll go into lower sideband and we'll just have a little look on the meter here. Hello, 1, 2. About 40 watts. Hello. Okay. So about 40 watts output. So that's that heatsink there. It's obviously got a couple of it's like a dual final output stage to do that. Now I won't bother trying to go through from one end of the band to the other. Obviously it works, and they're pretty well. The VCO system and the broadbanding of these things is pretty good actually. But what I'm more interested in is just to have a look at the receiver. This has had a new meter put in it, which is not unusual. The amount of radios that you start to see in the year 2020 that's come back from the 80s and 90s, where the meters are starting to give trouble, and this is a good example of, sort of, you can see how old and terrible they look. This was functional. I just wasn't happy with it. It was, yeah. Anyway, just wasn't doing what it should do. So I just popped another meter into this one, and unfortunately you can't get the totally original meter, but what goes into it looks really good. Actually, I like it better. It's a little bit more featured. Anyway, but to do that, the receiver needs to be set up right on 50 microvolts for S9. So what we'll do is we'll just have a quick look at that, and look, I've already set this up and put it back together, so I know what we're going to see here. But But we'll just have a bit of a listen here. Hang on, I'll just set something up. Lightning hot receivers, these things. That's 0.5 a microvolt, and it's actually so noisy. Sorry, not noisy. Get it right. It's so loud that it's impressive. So we're on 0.5 a microvolt. So minus 113. Still hearing it at 0.1. Still just hearing it at 0.05. Minus 133 dBm. Not bad. So 50 microvolts right on S9, which is what we want. So this here's really turned out to be right on the knocker. But yes, I did set that up before, but I thought I'd just give you a bit of an example of... now, when you're changing meters on these, you will need to readjust the meter adjustment to set to S9. They generally, they won't be up by much, but it's just nice to get them, sort of pretty close. So what else can I tell you about this radio? There are a few other little small features. Let me just turn that tone off, because that's just going to annoy the heck out of us. Right. They came with a Roger beep. Now let me see if we've got something here that can hear that. There you go. Not a feature that, really turns me on too much. But, even on 40 metres, the Codans have a beep at the end. And sometimes I do find it useful if I'm losing a station and I can't quite hear him. But strangely enough, I might not be able to tell when he's finished by his voice, but the beep on the Codans, that can be quite handy. It does have a 10kc switch, so I suppose really that's... it's going to take it plus 10 kcs there. Where that would be useful, probably not. Yeah. So this would be so it fill the gaps. So from 15 to 16, you went from 135 to 155 as in frequency. So 145, which is what we've got there, it's just filling that split. Now the same would be true of the old Australian CB channels, the 18 channels. So this would get you onto 095, which was the gap channel between 11 and 12 American. A good example of that, of course, is 19 as well, because 195 was another one that was missed on the, but you did get on the Australian system. So what was the other one? 3, wasn't it? 045? 995, sorry, 995, and then must be... oh boy, going back, 045, yep, okay. So these were just gap channels on the 40 channel system, and then down to 035 there. So this was really, back in the day, I'm not sure that this would be considered a huge feature anymore. To be honest, as much as we collect CB radios and various examples of 70s, 80s, 90s, even 60s, and we do that with ham radio as well. Believe it or not, I don't actually get to use them very often. I'm very rare that you'll hear me. I'd probably call two of my mates, the two Steves in Wodonga, excuse me, and say hello from time to time. But that's pretty much about it. But that's that's not a slur on CB radio in any way. It's just I've got a few areas of this hobby that I probably enjoy a little more. That's all. I play around a lot on HF with a lot of the ham radio gear, but there's still a special part of me that loves collecting these types of radios. Now, just to be clear on this, as far as the law, yes, you need to have a scientific license these days to be able to display this type of radio, and that allows us to do the testing we're doing today, but it does not allow us to do anything more. So I'll just clarify that. I would have probably, I'm not sure, 60, 70, maybe 80 of these style of radios, which are purely for our collection. So these are not, I suppose the thing is, they're not for sale, it's a real treacherous ground these days to well, for me anyway, if I was to be caught selling one of these. So it is, something I'm aware of. But I just think they're such great classics. They're really, whenever I'm showing you anything like this, I hope it's just more to appreciate the time it was built, the amount of technology that went into it, the different, the fact it's a bit different. I've got probably over 100 president radios here, of different variations, and it's fun just to sort of look at how the history of president or Cobra or SBE or CPI, any of these radios, the history of just how they migrated from feature to feature and how they just got so much better as time went on. All right, so there's not much more that I can really show you on this one. It's just been a bit of a look at the President Jackson, and just something a little different to see. Unfortunately, I can't put this on air for you, but certainly you probably get the impression that it'll work. But very rare beast. You won't see too many President Jacksons. I know I had trouble finding one for a very long time. If it wasn't for Ross Keogh, VK3MY, or you might know him better as Strictly Ham. I was fortunate enough to be able to get this one and another one that we've got in the box that's brand new off Ross, and he would be probably people think I was a large collector, or am a large collector. I'm not sure. I've slowed down a bit now, but no. If you want to meet a true collector, that's Ross. He certainly has a little bit of everything. There's no question. Actually, has a lot of everything and some really historic things that you will never buy anywhere in the world. If you excuse me, if you ever go into Ross's shop, ask him about the Yaesu amp that he's got that nobody else in the world's got. And the truth is, there might be two others around the world. But, he's got some very, very nice stuff, no question. So, and just remember, www.strictlyham.com.au. You'll find some incredible radio bits. And I know we're talking sort of CB today, but certainly a lot of you guys that are collecting are also amateurs as well. So remember to drop in and annoy Mr. Ross. Well, as soon as COVID-19 starts to that's why I mentioned the website at the moment. Ross is busy packing boxes every day. He's actually become an expert box packer versus an expert radio person. That's I read something the other day. The website traffic was up 600% last month. Amazing. All right, please don't mind my voice. I'm still not too well today. It's just a bit of a funny day, but we're working on that. 73 is all the best, and I hope you've enjoyed having a little look at the President Jackson. They're grunty little radio with a lot of little options on them, and certainly something a little bit different to have a bit of a look at. 73 is VK3 Charlie Mike, JDW 229, Tangambalanga, Northeast Victoria, Australia. All the best.